Hello, it is Dorian here, and welcome to this little mini master class. And I'm excited to be here today to talk about something really, really important to everybody, but particularly we ladies who are over 45 years old. And speaking of age, I turned 60 just a few days ago. Let me take my glasses off. These are my blue light glasses. But I turned 60 12 days ago, and I have been consumed with thoughts about how grateful I am for my health and wellness and all of these amazing things I have to look forward into my life because of my health and wellness. So on the eve of my 60th birthday, I flew out west with three of my best friends in the whole world, and I hiked Angel's Landing, which is supposedly one of the scariest and most dangerous hikes in America. And I will tell you, oh, that's not the one I wanted to show you. Let me see. I wanted to show you, where's Angel's? Hold on. Here we go. This is Angel's Landing. Okay, this is Angel's Landing. So yeah, really scary. It was totally out of my comfort zone, out of my box. Even though I ski, I'm a little afraid of heights. And I also I don't like closed in spaces. And even though we were in this beautiful expanse of country, that what we were hiking was so narrow, and literally you can see from these pictures, there's nothing on either side. So as we were going up, I was thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to get down? And actually, once I got up there and I got past the unknown, going down was actually, I don't want to say easy, but it kind of was. But it definitely wasn't as scary, and I really enjoyed the trip down. So that is, yeah, look at that crazy thing we were hiking on. And then, this was the one I just showed you, I rappelled down a canyon, which was really amazing. Oh my gosh, what a feeling that was. And never in my life did I think I would be rappelling down a canyon, but I did. And I was so excited that I had not only the physical strength, but the mental confidence to do this. And then the last thing I did, let's see if I can show you this guy. I hiked for 8 miles in Bryce Canyon, which has been a bucket list of mine for at least 25 years. And it was so amazing to, again, like have the stamina and the strength to do this hike. It's not like I'm this big hiker. I'm not. But I do want to start doing more of it. But it was really, really incredible to do. So if you're ever thinking about doing an adventure, I highly recommend going out west and checking out Zion and Bryce Canyon. So what I'm here to talk about today is strength. And with exercise, it's really important to have a balance of different types of exercise in your weeks. But if you could only choose one type of exercise that you could do, people ask you, like, if you can only have one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? It's kind of the same thing. If you can only do one type of exercise for your life, what would it be? And it should be strength training. And this goes for every person on the planet. But if you're a woman who's experiencing hormonal change or is post-menopause, this strength training is going to, be 10x more important for you now than it was before you started having a hormonal change or before you came post-menopausal. And so why is that? Well, strength training is massive. So we build muscle mass as we work on our strength. So you develop more muscle mass by developing more muscle mass, you can control your blood sugar more. It's going to prevent or reverse muscle loss or age-related muscle loss called sarcopenia. It's going to help you build bone density. It's going to support your joint health. And if you guys are listening to me and you're over 45, into your 50s or your early 60s, you know what I'm talking about, because all of these things pop up. It helps to burn more fat. It actually helps give you better posture because your muscles are supporting your skeleton. And this is actually something that they spoke to us on our hike about, was like letting your skeleton support you, but it's really hard for your skeleton to support you if you don't have strong muscles around it. And it's also going to improve all of your biomarkers of aging, which we call your metabolic age. What is your metabolic age? I'm going to talk about in a second. So I'm going to dive into these 6 or 7 things. So let's talk about maintaining healthy blood sugar. So maintaining healthy blood sugar levels should be, I think for everybody, number one priority in terms of just your overall wellness, how you're eating, how you're exercising, managing your stress, how you're sleeping. It's so fundamental to overall wellness. And it is particularly important for us ladies. As our hormones change, we lose estrogen. Okay, we get to the point like now I have to have my estrogen levels checked again, but they're probably like almost non-existent. And estrogen plays a significant role in so many important functions in our body. One of those roles is in blood glucose regulation. And in fact, our new nutrition program that we launched as a part of our new 8-week program called the Happy Body Method, Happy Body, Happy Life, is entirely focused on blood sugar regulation because it's such a major player in weight management and quality of life for women over 45. So this can get really complicated, but I'm going to keep it super simple. Okay. So when our blood glucose is all over the place all the time, it leads to inflammation, and it also leads to insulin resistance in your body, which leads then again to chronic disease and metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is just when you're really, really overweight and your insulin levels are out of control. You're totally insulin resistant, and you're just gaining weight and gaining weight and getting more and more unhealthy. So insulin actually controls the amount of sugar in the blood moving into the cells where it can be used for the body for energy. So how does more muscle help us? Think of your muscles as a big storage center, right? Big storage center for blood sugar. So sugar comes into our body and carbohydrates, and we break it down into glucose, and then it is stored. It moves into your bloodstream, and then our bloodstream can only hold about 4 grams of glucose. So then there's all this other glucose floating around. It's like, okay, what do? You need to get it out of the bloodstream as soon as possible. And then where does it go? It needs to be stored someplace to be used later as energy for the body. Well, the more storage space you have, the better. So your storage space is your muscle. So if you have this much storage space, not so great, but if you have this much, it's really great. So we can store all of that glucose for future use for energy. So the more storage you have for blood sugar, your muscles, the faster your body can take the sugar out of your bloodstream and reduce the chance of developing inflammation and insulin resistance. So inflammation is like the root of so much chronic disease. So we want to be able to alleviate that as much as possible. And, all of this, anything that's extra that's not being stored in your muscles is being stored as fat. So it makes sense. The more sugar that you eat, or the carbohydrates you eat, gets broken down into glucose. And the more storage area we have for it, the better. And the less storage area we have, it all gets turned to fat. Okay. So that's number 1, blood glucose regulation. And the other thing that building strength, which is going to build muscle, is it helps to prevent or reverse muscle loss, or what we call sarcopenia. And this is age-related muscle loss. It just happens. And it can start as early as age 35, just when our hormones, just when we can start having that hormonal change as women around age 35. So you've got like a double whammy there. So it can decrease about, when you're 35 to say 60, about 1 to 2% per year for an average person. And after 60, it can go up to like 3% per year. That's massive. But the good news is if you're exercising properly and regularly and doing strength exercises, you can alleviate this. All right. So I want to show you a photo here. All right. So I'm looking off to the side just because the way my screen is set up. Okay. So you can see here, this is a cross section. It's kind of weird, but this is a cross section of a thigh, like middle of the thigh. The top one is age 25. So you can see the bone in the middle, or not in the middle, but you can see that white spot. All around it is this lean muscle mass. And then all the white around the edge is subcutaneous fat. But look at age 63. That is crazy. That is 3 years older than me. I will tell you that I believe that my muscles of my legs do not look like that. So you can see how important it is to maintain strength exercise to keep your muscle mass up. And you can do some research on, online, and you can see these comparisons like of a person who doesn't exercise, who's 70 years old versus a person who does exercise a lot and does strength training, who's 70 years old. Their muscle mass looks like the age 25 person. So strength training is such an easy way to stay metabolically healthy. Okay. But here's the scary thing. Like on average, adults who do or don't do regular strength training can expect to lose about 4 to 6 pounds of muscle per decade. That is insane. And it doesn't have to happen. That's what's awesome. And here's the kicker, ladies. Most people don't see this number on the scale going down. Okay. You don't see so if you don't have a ton of weight to lose, even if you do really, if you're losing muscle and just replacing it with fat, so you can see in these photos here, they're both about the same size, right? Both about the same size. But this one on the bottom has so much more fat. So it's really, really misleading, right? You say, oh, I'm still fitting in my same size jeans. But you got to see what's going on inside, right? Inside your body. So it's really, really important that you have a baseline. So if you haven't done so already, it's really important to get this baseline body composition analysis so you can keep monitoring quarter to quarter. You can do it month to month, but really quarter to quarter to see where your body fat is in relationship to your muscle. What are those percentages? So let's say, you're doing this every 3 months or every 6 months and you see something declining, like, oh shit, I need to do something to reverse this. And you just consult with somebody like me or Robin or somebody on our staff, say, okay, let's look at what's happening. Let's look at your history here. And okay, what have you been doing lately? We can look at your MyZone workouts, and we can say, okay, why don't we make these changes to get this body composition turned around so that we're starting to increase our muscle again. So we have at our HQ and our studio in Flemington, New Jersey, we have what's called an InBody segmental body composition analyzer. And it's just something you stand on. There's nothing invasive. It's not scary. You just get on there and you just have to make sure you're hydrated, and it figures out all these calculations. It's a medical grade piece of equipment. So if you're local and you want to come in to our HQ and our studio for a free scan, I'm inviting you. That is part of my 60th birthday gift to the world. We will give you a scan and a little consultation. We'll take a look at it with you, and maybe we can come up with a little plan and a path to make improvements. I've provided a link in the description of this post so you can schedule that. If you have any problems, you can just reach out to us by messaging us, either direct messaging us, or you can just put a comment and we'll be checking that. And if you aren't local, put a post in a comment here. I'm not local, but I'd really like to have an InBody scan done. And I have a network of people where I can, depending on where you live, I can find a recommendation so you can go and get the scan, and then I can take that and we can do a little analysis for you. Okay. So number 3, building muscles and building strength also helps to build bone density. So we know that as we get older, things like falling and injuring ourselves can be a really serious concern. So why is that? It's because our bone density also decreases like our muscle as we age. So a stat for you, after about age 40, we can lose about 1% of bone mass a year. It's different for different people. But if we keep our bone density high, a fall or an injury is not going to be as serious. And I want to show you another image here. So this is my mom and dad. This is just this summer. My mom is 85, my dad is 87. And last December, so December of 2021, my dad took a fall. And I was petrified. And he was in the hospital. He had to have a hip replacement. And we were all so concerned because we know he was 86 at the time, almost 87. He was 86. And we're like, oh my gosh, because we know what happens. And we've had people in our family that this has happened to. And it's like something like 60% of people, if you're over like 75 years old, something like that, never regain their independence. And my dad literally was up and going without his cane or his walker within like a month. Amazing. And my mother, who's sitting to his right, she actually broke her hip about 10 years ago. She was about 75 when we were in Disney. And again, this woman was like, she drove in a car all the way from Florida, all the way back up north. And she had her surgery done. And amazing. She's just doing her thing. She's riding her bike. She's doing her walk. She's very active. But I will tell you, if they weren't as fit as they are, I think it would have been a problem. So once again, for post-menopausal women, I hate saying that, if we are past that age where our hormones have like gone through that crazy change, this problem can be like 5 or 10x. And why is that? It's because our body is constantly breaking down old bone and growing new bone to take its place. And bones are made up of kind of this matrix of different proteins and minerals. And then there's like special cells within our bones that help to kind of adhere the proteins and the minerals so they can act together to provide both strength and flexibility to our bones. And here's where the estrogen effects comes in. Estrogen influences these cells that bind the protein and the minerals together. So with lower estrogen levels, it can adversely affect how these cells function. So it makes them produce, too little of this structure to the new bone, and it can't properly maintain that bone structure. So that's where that bone fragility comes in. So building muscle helps to build bone. So the stress you put on your muscles during strength exercise not only tells your muscles that they need to get stronger, but it also sends a signal at the same time that your bones need to get stronger. So number 4, I have 2 more to go after this. Muscle strength exercise also supports your joint health. And then if any of you, if you know me, you know I am so big into joint health. I am a gyrotonic certified trainer, and joint health is huge in gyrotonic. So with stronger muscles, we have stronger bones, right? And with stronger bones, there's less tension on your joints. So building muscle around your joints takes the tension out of the joint and back into the muscle. And if you've taken my classes, you know I always say that. Get out of your joint and into your muscle. Don't use your joints to move. Use your muscle to move. And in doing so, you're going to create that strength and that opening around your joints. I have a client, when she first started with me about 10 years ago, young woman, I felt so bad. And she felt horrible because she had to take the elevator up the 3 stories. She couldn't walk like everybody else did because her knees were like bone on bone. So we worked together, and we came up with a protocol and different techniques. We used the TRX straps to help her do things that helped her create this like moving and strengthening around the joint. She had really bad arthritis. And it was amazing. Within like a couple of years, She still is full lunging, full squatting, amazing, like walking up the stairs. But it takes time. But if you stay dedicated to this strength training, you can have similar results. So one of the last things we want to talk about is that muscle mass helps burn more fat and helps us maintain healthy body composition. So imagine your muscles not only like a storage case, but like a little furnace. So your muscle is always metabolically active. So just by hanging out, just sitting right here, my muscles are burning calories. They're metabolically active. So the more muscle I have, when my body's at rest or not even exercising, I'm burning more calories. I'm using more energy. So just going through your regular life, doing what you do every day, sitting at your desk, driving to work, whatever you're doing, the more muscle you have, the more metabolically active your body is. I love this point. Better posture. Who doesn't want to have better posture? Stand up nice and tall. Posture encourages proper alignment of your joints. And when your joints are more aligned, they're going to be healthier and stronger. Better posture helps you use your muscles more efficiently. And it helps to reduce wear and tear on your joints. Also, gosh, this is a huge one. Posture decreases stress on your spine. And again, if you've worked with me, I talk about this all the time, particularly low back discomfort. Finding that posture, strengthening those core muscles around that good posture will totally alleviate compression in the low back and hence discomfort. It also helps to prevent muscle fatigue. And my own theory about posture, because of my gyrotonic background, is that we want to lengthen our bodies, right? All of our organs move. They're visceral and they move. They need a certain space to move and function. Think about this. If you were cramped into a little space every day and you had to function on your keyboard like this, how efficient would you be? Instead of sitting up, having lots of space, air to breathe, your body to move, your fingers to work properly, which one is going to be more efficient? So my own kind of theory about this is that when you have good posture, all of your organs have their own space in their bodies. They're not being crunched by anything else, and they have the room to move and function efficiently. But again, that's my own theory. And the last thing I want to talk about with you is that strength and more muscle increases and improves your biomarkers for your metabolic age. So chronological age is like the age you are from the day you're born to now. But metabolic age is about the health, the physiological age of your body. And what that's based on is your body composition, your muscle mass in your body, your cardiovascular fitness, your blood lipid levels, your blood glucose that we talked about before. I remember when we were having some of our challenges, and we have people come in to do their weigh-ins, and they're really, really scared about getting on the scale at the beginning because of what their weight is going to be. Like, oh, I'm scared, what my weight going to be? But always the last stat that we do is we do BMI, weight, muscle mass, body fat percentage, visceral fat, which is another one, and our metabolic age. So metabolic age was always last. And this was the one that would freak people out the most. And it actually ended up being that they ended up focusing more on that metabolic age than they did on weight, because they see when you're 40 and your metabolic age is 70, that's impressive, more than I'm 10 pounds overweight or I'm 20 pounds overweight. So that is my take on strength training and why we all need to strength train, but how important it is for women who are experiencing hormonal change or have gone through menopause and we really have no estrogen left. So in honor of my 60th birthday, I'm going to be giving everyone a 30-day membership to our in-person you can come into the studio, or our virtual studio. So you can do either. We have live stream classes on our virtual studio, and we also have recorded classes where you can experience the difference that a targeted exercise program for women over 45 makes. There's so many levels and benefits to our exercise program, and just one of them is the strength training component. And we make it fun, we make it relevant and effective. And the cool thing about my giveaway for my birthday is that one person is going to win a 3-month one-on-one wellness and life coaching program with me. And we are going to be announcing it on the 23rd of November. So you have between now and the 23rd to sign up for your 30-day membership. So there's links I provided to do 2 things on this. I usually only like to do 1 link, but I have 2. So there's a schedule. You can a link to a schedule where you can schedule your InBody. And if there's not a time that works for you on there, again, just drop a comment here in this thread. And on the 23rd, we'll be picking and announcing somebody who won the 3-month coaching program. And so good luck with that. And if you know another woman who could benefit from targeted strength training, I'm sure you do, please just share the link with her, and we'll welcome her with open arms into our community to exercise with us. So I want to thank you so much for joining. Mom and Dad, want to thank you for joining, and I really look forward to seeing you soon. Any questions you have, please just put them in the comments. I'll be checking in with that the rest of the evening today and then tomorrow, and I'll get back to you with answers on anything you have questions about. So I hope this served you. I hope that it was super helpful, and that if you're not doing strength training now, that it inspires you to get out there and pick up heavy things and put them down. Have a great night, and I'll see you later in the week with another mini masterclass. Take care.